Welcome to Afternoon Express. So as the festive season approaches, most of us are experiencing a mix of joy and anxiety. We're trying to figure out how to keep the kids busy, what Christmas gifts to buy, how to cope with the family and the in-laws, and of course, whether our money will last until payday in January. Yes, year-end stress is real, and today we unpack this topic with clinical psychologist Rafiq Lockhat. Welcome to The Loft.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Apparently, stats show that this time of the year, anxiety levels increase exponentially. Is that the truth?
That's absolutely true. It shouldn't, because holiday and stress doesn't really go together.
Yes.
But actually it does.
And why so?
Because holidays, and South Africa has unique challenges.
Yeah.
So there are lots of things that we don't plan for holidays. Number one is that the kids are not at school.
Okay.
And we have safety issues here. So
Okay.
if parents are working, just a small example.
Yes.
Parents work, your kids are not home.
Okay.
And you're unsure what's going on. If you're little kids, if you're big kids, you have neighbors, all the kids are out of school. So we're constantly worrying about our kids' safe. And that's the reality.
Yes.
And then, of course, money. Money. Holiday time, there's lots of money that has to be spent. And kids want things, and you have to take them here. And presents. And you know how things are with presents. If you buy cheap presents, people take it badly. And they make sure they give you a cheap present. So it really, I mean, it's small things, but it really adds up, you know.
It compounds.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it really causes stress. And we get confused because we're not supposed to be feeling stressed because it's the holidays. Because why am I feeling miserable and irritable? And people are saying, it's holidays, dude, what's wrong with you? Why are you so miserable? But meantime, you got invited to like a bring and braai, and you looked at the cost, and it's way out of your budget. But now, do you pitch up with just a salad when they ask you to bring a whole chicken?
Yeah.
So it's small things like that we don't talk about, but they add up.
That's so fascinating. You know, one of the things that I have found myself doing personally in the last few years, when I find myself under that stressful situation, I always ask myself, am I getting stressed out over a social construction? Like, so for example, the money that gets spent this time of the year. A large part of that is the social construct, right? And if that's going to stress me out and is unhealthy for my mental health, then I need to do a bit of a check-in. So my question to you now is, what do we do with that when we do have that knowledge and awareness that this is causing me anxiety and stress?
So it's complicated, because if you have your kids hounding you, and they say, we have to go, all my friends are going, we've got to go to this concert. And then you feel really guilty because you've been working all year, you want to take them out. So the first thing you do is exactly as you said, stop and think, okay, can I do this?
Yeah.
If I can't do it, and it's going to cause me, because no use going somewhere and then you're stressing totally and then you're miserable for the next 2 weeks. Sit, talk to the kids and say, here's what we're going to do. We can't actually afford that, but we can do this. And if your friends say, listen, you know, there's a bring and braai, you have to bring all the stuff, then you just have to say, dude, sorry, I can bring this, but I can't bring that. So that's why planning is quite important. And it's good to plan for your holiday season way in advance. You know, people say buy your Christmas gifts in July. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Because things are a lot cheaper then, and they're also on sale. But now all the prices go up. So there is planning. And I think holiday stress, to talk about it, is great.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to talk about holiday stress.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
But talking about it means you can identify and plan. And you can prepare your kids in advance and say, you know, some kids can nag and they just wear you down, you know.
Yeah.
And you just feel bad. So you can talk and say, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. This is what we'll be able to do now. This is what we'll do at the end of Jan when the paycheck comes in.
Yes.
As an example. And just not get caught up in the whole, I have to buy an expensive gift.
Yeah.
You know, cards, making cards is so much fun.
Absolutely. I have to address this issue because I think it's so important. A lot of people feel highly isolated around this time of the year as well. What can you say to that, and how can we address that?
So it's a known psychological effect, slightly less so in South Africa, because here we're very family-oriented. Overseas, kind of less so. But here, so for example, if you've lost a family member, you're going to be the first holiday season without them. It's a huge thing. If you just take Christmas lunch, for example, there's an empty chair. And that can trigger lots of grief if you didn't deal with it when it happened, and often we don't. Then at that moment, it pops up. You know, suddenly the reality of the empty chair is there. So there can be lots of grief issues, what we call complicated grief, that comes up during this part of the time. And because it's family, people who don't have family, who have lost family, then do feel lonely, isolated. And the research shows that the suicide rates do go up. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay, suicide rates do go up. Suicide attempts, generally, not necessarily successful suicide, but suicide rates go up. People get admitted to clinics, and then at least they're in the clinic for a while over the festive season.
Yeah.
But because everywhere you looked, every advert, every song, everything is family, 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 family.
And joy and happiness.
And joy and happiness, and you're not feeling like that, it can trigger really serious feelings of suicide. It can happen. And so it's important to get help at that time. You know, there's call centers, there's a SA, what's called SADAG, there's friends you can reach out to. People often feel that their friends don't have time for them this time of year. Actually, your friends do.
Yeah.
If they're real friends, and if you're missing, if you're feeling lonely and isolated, call somebody.
Reach out.
Walk up, chat to people. Talking is important. The worst thing you can do is stay at home by yourself and, let's say, start drinking to cope. So there's healthy coping, and then there's unhealthy coping.
Yeah.
So unhealthy coping would be starting to drink excessively, just to numb yourself out. Taking painkillers, taking illicit drugs, too much of that, taking sleeping pills. All of that combination just makes things a lot worse. That's not coping. That's a form of coping, but it's the worst kind of coping. There's healthier coping. Talk, reach out, go to friends, hang out with people. Even if you're like with their family, not yours, a part of you will feel this should be my family, but at least you're with someone.
So what I'm hearing from you is just cultivate awareness and reach out when you need assistance.
Yeah, be nice.
Be nice and be kind. Rafiq, thank you so much for your information and your expertise. Remember to set healthy boundaries and have realistic expectations this festive season to help manage your holiday stress better. On social media, we'd like to know from you. The holiday season can be difficult for a number of reasons. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how stressed out do you feel at the end of the year? Remember to use the hashtag AfternoonExpress.